Hi, everybody, and welcome back for another exciting week of Español. In this week, we are learning about Unidad Uno, Lección Dos, titled Mis amigos y yo, my friends and I, which also takes place here in the Estados Unidos section of our textbook. So, in this particular lesson, there were several learning objectives here that I would like for you to keep in mind. One of which is to identify vocabulary related to people, things, and adjectives of description. You should also be able to demonstrate understanding of definite and indefinite articles. And our remaining learning objectives center around the creation of sentences. And those sentences are going to be about you describing oneself and others. And some of those will involve proper noun adjective agreement and things of that nature. So, first, let's get started by talking about a little bit of vocabulary related to these adjectives of description. So, here in letter A, you hear, Hola, soy Sandra. Soy artística y tengo pelo castaño. A mi amigo Ricardo le gusta practicar deportes porque es atlético. So, hello, I'm Sandra. I am artística. You can see here she's drawing in her photo, artística. Y tengo pelo castaño. I have brown hair, as you see. A mi amigo Ricardo le gusta practicar deportes porque es atlético. So, my friend Ricardo, he likes to practice sports because he is atlético. And you see the word atlético written out over here, and you see him bouncing a basketball. A couple of words to take note of here. Porque means because, again. And notice that artística ends in an A when we're talking about Sandra, but atlético ends in an O when we're talking about Ricardo. When you have an adjective of description, in Spanish, they must agree in gender and number with the person they're describing. So typically, if you're talking about one male, your adjective is going to end in an O. And typically, if you're talking about one female, your adjective will end in an A. So if we were talking about a male who is artistic, instead of artística, we would say artístico. Good. And instead of talking about a male who's athletic, if we were talking about a female, instead of atlético, we would say good, atlética. Awesome, atlética. Okay. So here in letter B, you see these two guys on this little park bench, and this person says that Alberto es trabajador y estudioso. Le gusta estudiar. David es un poco perezoso. No es un estudiante muy bueno. No le gusta trabajar. So Alberto here on the left is trabajador. He's hardworking. You can see he's studying here. Trabajador y estudioso. He's studious, someone who likes to study. It specifically says here, le gusta estudiar. He likes to study. David, who's over here in the yellow, David es un poco perezoso. So he's lazy, just a little bit lazy though, un poco perezoso. They tell us that no es un estudiante muy bueno. He's not a very good student. And no le gusta trabajar. He does not like to work. You also have some other vocab that's mentioned here in this chapter on the right. Bonito, pretty. Guapo, good looking. And malo, bad. In letter C, you see another little description here. We hear that soy una persona muy organizada. So I'm a very organized person. Soy una persona muy organizada. And you can see here on her blanket, she's got everything spread out. Everything's all organized. She looks very organized. Organizada. Mi amiga Ana es inteligente, pero un poco desorganizada. So my friend Ana, she's intelligent, pero es un poco desorganizada. She's a little disorganized. You can see her blanket in comparison. She's got stuff all spread out all over the place here. So organizada, desorganizada. Organized and disorganized. And here in letter D, we see that Rafael es muy alto. Look at him here. Muy alto. Pero Laura es muy baja. So alto, tall, and baja, short. You can see Ana here, or Laura here, is very short. Now, take note again, if we were talking about a female who's tall, instead of alto, that female would be alta. And a male who's short, instead of baja, he would be bajo. Okay? As we continue reading, it tells us that Manuel es grande, pero Francisco es pequeño. So Manuel, he's grande. Look at him here, he's big. But Francisco es pequeño, small, pequeño. La señora Santa Cruz es un poco vieja. She's a little bit old. Es un poco vieja. I don't know how you're just a little old, but un poco, just a little bit vieja, a little bit old. Pero Rosita es joven. Rosita is young. So vieja, old, and joven, young. So all of these are opposites, as you can see. Tall and short, big and small, old and young. In letter E, we see La Señora Guardado es pelirroja. And you can see her here. She's pelirroja. She's red-headed. Y el Señor Guardado tiene pelo castaño. He has dark hair or brown hair, we might say. Marco y Laura son chicos muy buenos. So Marco y Laura are boys that are very good. They're very good boys. Now notice though, el chico refers to one boy, and la chica refers to one girl. So when you put these together and you have boys and girls, the masculine version always defaults in this case in Spanish. So instead of saying el chico y la chica, we just shorten it to say los chicos for boys and girls, as well as just boys. So in this case, Marco y Laura son chicos muy buenos. You could also translate as they're very good boys and girls. It tells us that Marco tiene pelo rubio. He has blonde hair. Y Laura tiene pelo castaño. She has brown hair. In letter F, as we keep going, you see that yo soy un poco seria, pero mi amigo Alberto es muy cómico. So I am a little bit serious. Yo soy un poco seria, pero mi amigo Alberto, but my friend Alberto, es muy cómico. He's very funny, and you can see them here contrasted. She's muy seria. She's got her arms crossed. She's super serious. And él es muy cómico. He's very funny. Looks like he's doing something silly. Todos mis amigos son muy simpáticos. ¿Y tú cómo eres? So, todos mis amigos, all, todos of my friends, mis amigos, son muy simpáticos. All my friends are very nice. ¿Y tú, and you, cómo eres? What are you like? Okay, so I want to give you a chance to practice a little bit with this vocabulary that we've been talking about. It tells you here that Sandra describe a sus amigos, pero Ricardo dice lo opuesto. Empareja la descripción de Sandra con la respuesta de Ricardo. So Sandra's describing her friends, but Ricardo is saying the opposite. So for example, in number 1, you see that Marco es pequeño. Sandra's saying Marco is small. But Ricardo is saying the opposite. No, he's not small. He is big. So we need to choose on the right here the letter for big. Or this would be letter B. No, es grande. So for number 1, we're going to put B. Let's do one more together. Number 2 says that Luisa es trabajadora. She's hardworking. And Ricardo is going to disagree with that. So the opposite of hardworking in this case would be lazy. So we're going to say no, she's not hardworking. She's lazy. No, es perezosa. Perezosa, letter D. All right, now that you've seen how this works, I want you to take a moment and try numbers 3 through 6 on your own. When you're ready, you can unpause. Okay, let's take a look at these. So in number 3, we see that Pablo es organizado. He's organized. But in this case, we're disagreeing with that. We're saying no, he's disorganized. No, es desorganizado. Number 4, Joaquín es malo. Wow, Joaquín is bad. And we're going to say the opposite. No, he's good. No, es bueno. Es bueno. Number 5, Anabel es joven. Anabel is young. But we're going to say the opposite. No, she's not young. No, Anabel es vieja. She's old, vieja. And number 6, Francisco es cómico. Francisco is funny. We're going to say the opposite. He's serious. Francisco es serio. Letter E. Okay, so I want to bring up one more thing. We talked before in a previous chapter about the verb ser. And you learned how to conjugate it. Soy, eres, es, somos, sois, son. Now in this case, it's also important to remember these bottom left boxes function as is and are. So es, you could translate as is, and son, you could translate as are. So es is the singular version, as you see down here. La mujer es alta. The woman is tall. And over here, son is the plural version. Los chicos son organizados. The boys are organized. Be careful with these. You wouldn't say the boys is organized or the women are tall. So make sure you get these correct in Spanish as well. Es for is and son for are. Okay, in this activity, you're taking these pink adjectives over here to the right, and you are going to pair them with what it says in the sentence the person likes. So you have to think back to that verb gustar that we learned about before, and we're going to take gustar and pair it up with some of these adjectives. So, as you look, for example, at the model, it tells us that a Ricardo le gusta practicar deportes. Ricardo likes to practice sports. Okay, and then we have to figure out which one of these goes with that. Well, if he practices sports, he's probably athletic, atletico, but we need to put something in the middle. So our final sentence here says that a Ricardo le gusta practicar deportes porque, because es atlético. He's athletic. In number 1, we see that a Ricardo le gusta hacer la tarea. So Ricardo likes to do homework. Le gusta hacer la tarea. Well, someone who likes to do homework, would they be serio, serious? Maybe. Atlético, athletic. Artístico, artistic. Desorganizado. Estudioso, studious, maybe. Trabajador, hardworking, maybe. So in this case, I think the best answer would be that he's studious. So we have a Ricardo le gusta hacer la tarea. Ricardo likes to do homework. We need to add a because, which you may remember from before is porque. So a Ricardo le gusta hacer la tarea porque es estudioso. Because he's studious. Porque es estudioso. He likes to do homework because he's studious. Okay? Now that you've had a second to try and practice this vocab, I want you to take a minute and do numbers 2 through 6 on your own. When you're ready, you can unpause. Okay, now that you've had a second to try these, let's take a look. Number 2 says, a Ricardo le gusta dibujar. He likes to draw. Well, someone who likes to draw is artistic. So we're going to say, a Ricardo le gusta dibujar porque es artístico. Because he's artistic. Porque es artístico. In number 3, we see a Alberto no le gusta ser cómico. Alberto does not like to be funny. Well, why not? Generally, people who don't enjoy being funny are very serious. So, a Alberto no le gusta ser cómico porque es serio. Because he's serious. Porque es serio. Number 4, a Alberto le gusta correr. He likes to run because he's athletic. A Alberto le gusta correr porque es atlético. Because he's athletic. Number 5, a Alberto no le gusta ser perezoso. Alberto does not like to be lazy. Well, the opposite of lazy is hardworking, so don't forget to add your because word here. A Alberto no le gusta ser perezoso porque es trabajador. And finally, our last one. A Alberto no le gusta ser organizado. He doesn't like to be organized. Porque, because, es desorganizado. He's disorganized. Okay, so this gave you some practice with the vocabulary and allowed us to achieve our learning objectives that you should be identifying vocab related to people, things, and adjectives of description, and that you should be creating sentences describing oneself and others. So now we're going to move on to talk about definite and indefinite articles. And these can be a little tricky for some people because we don't talk about these as much in English class anymore. So let me just back up a little bit. Definite articles in English are translated as the or the, depending on where you're from. And they refer to very specific people, places, and things, very specific nouns, technically. Indefinite articles are the complete opposite of that. In English, we translate these as a or some, and they're usually used with very non-specific people, places, and things. So let me give you an example. You see at the bottom here that the boy is a friend. We're talking about a specific boy. He's right here in front of us. The boy right there is a friend. Whereas if we said it a little differently, oh, there's a boy over there who's a friend. Well, which one? Which one of them is her friend? We don't really know. It's very inspecific. So your definite articles mean the, and your indefinite articles are a or some. Now in Spanish, the hard part about this is that everything, every noun in Spanish is either masculine or it's feminine. All of our nouns have to agree in gender and number in Spanish. Now, and generally what that means, nouns that end in an O are masculine, and nouns that end in an A are feminine. This goes along with what we talked about earlier, like a male who was tall was alto, and a female who was tall was alta. This is kind of similar. Those are adjectives, and this is a noun. But nouns in Spanish that are masculine usually end in an O, and nouns that are feminine in Spanish usually end in an A. So let's look at some examples. I like to use jugo and pizza as my examples when I teach this, okay? So we have jugo, which is juice. Well, gosh, do only guys drink juice? No, but jugo ends in an O. It's masculine, so therefore we have to use the definite article el with it in order to say the juice, okay? Doesn't matter. Girls can drink juice too, okay? But in this case, the word juice in Spanish is masculine, so we have to use the masculine definite article el. Now, watch, if we make it plural, jugo ended in an O, it ended in a vowel. So to make it plural, all we had to do was add an S. We get jugos, juices. Now, in this case, the definite article that must agree with something that is masculine and plural is los. So el is masculine and singular. Los is masculine and plural. So el jugo, the juice. Los jugos, the juices. Let's now talk about pizza for a second. Pizza is a feminine noun in Spanish. We know that because it ends in an A. Does that mean that only girls eat pizza? Man, I sure hope not. So in this case, pizza is feminine and singular. So we're going to use the definite article la to say the pizza. Same thing, to make it plural, it ends in a vowel. So we're just going to add an S. We get pizzas. And in this case, we have las pizzas because we have multiple pizzas in this case. Here's a little trick for you. Notice if it ends in an O, it's masculine singular. We're going to use el. Los jugos, it ends in OS. It's masculine plural. This ends in OS. That ends in OS. Same thing with pizza. This ends in an A. That's going to end in an A. Pizzas, this ends in AS. That's going to end in AS. So you can kind of cheat a little bit and make these agree if need be. Okay? Now, on the flip side of that, let's talk about these indefinite articles. Remember, instead of saying the, this time you're saying a or some. So instead of saying the juice, this time you're saying a juice, un jugo. Instead of saying the juices, you're saying some juices, unos jugos. Notice again, this ends in OS, that's going to end in OS. For a pizza, we have una pizza, and for some pizzas, we have unas pizzas. This ends in an A, that ends in an A. This ends in AS, that ends in AS. So hopefully you're seeing the pattern here. Okay, I want to give you a chance to practice with these. We're going to start with just your definite articles, the ones that mean the, always translated or always here as el, la, los, or las. In this case, number one says, blank chicas son atléticas. So blank girls are athletic. Well, in this case, we're talking about chicas, which is a feminine noun. We know because it ends in an A, and it's plural. It ends in AS. So in this case, the definite article, which one would you use here? El, la, los, or las? Hopefully you're saying las. It must agree in gender and number. Again, you can cheat here. Las chicas atléticas. AS, 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 all the way across. Let's look at another one together. Number two says blank maestra es inteligente. So blank teacher is intelligent. Are you going to use el, la, los, or las? Well, in this case, we're talking about a maestra, which is a female teacher. We also know that maestra ends in an A. It's a feminine noun that is singular. So in this case, we must use la in this case, la maestra. Okay, I have several here. I'd like for you to take a moment, pause your audio, and give numbers 3 through 10 a try. If you need help, I did post some definite articles over here on the side to help you if you need that. All right, but I want you to pause your audio, give these a try, and when you're ready, you can unmute, okay? All right, now that everybody's had a second to try, let's take a look. Number 3 says, blank amigos son muy simpáticos. So blank friends are nice. Well, in this case, we have amigos, which is plural. It ends in OS. and it's masculine. It has an O in there. So in this case, we need to use the definite article los. Los amigos simpáticos. And you can compare os, all the way across. Number 4, blank chico es pelirrojo. So the boy is red-headed. Well, in this case, chico ends in an O. It is masculine. It is singular. So therefore, for a masculine singular noun, we're going to use the definite article el in this case. Number 5, blank mujeres son artísticas. So blank women are artistic. Well, we know that women in general, mujeres, are obviously feminine. And in this case, we have multiple women, so it's feminine and plural. Therefore, we should use las. Now, even if you didn't know what that word mujeres meant, you could look over here and see that artísticas ended in an as. It was feminine plural, so we still had to use las in this case. Okay, same thing with the rest of these. Number 6, blank hombre es guapo. Blank man is good looking. So in this case, guapo ends in an O. It's masculine singular. We're going to use el. You also may have thought about it from the standpoint of hombre. Hombre is a man. There's only one man here. So it's singular and masculine. Number 7, blank personas son organizadas. So blank people are organized. Well, notice that personas ends in as, multiple people, and organizadas ends in as. Now, it doesn't matter that the group of people may be men and women. It matters that the word personas is feminine and it's plural. It ends in as. So in this case, to say the people, we're going to say las personas son organizadas. Number 8, blank amigas son jóvenes. We know that amigas are friends. In this case, the word amigas is feminine and it is plural. So therefore, we should use las here. Las amigas son jóvenes. Number 7, blank estudiantes son bajos. We have multiple students here. In this case, lots of them are short. Bajos, in this case, was masculine and plural. And estudiantes, there are multiple students here, a mixed group of men and women, so we're going to default to the masculine. So in this case, we are using los as our article. Los estudiantes son bajos. And the last one, la mujer es cómica, because we know that a mujer is a woman. And cómica ends in an A. Hopefully you're feeling better about these definite articles. In this activity, this is a listening activity. You're going to hear a woman, her name is Sandra, and she's making a list of all the things that she likes to buy. She's not going to give you the definite article, the el, la, los, or las. You're going to have to fill that part in yourself. Okay, so you're just going to hear the items that she buys. Like she might say pizza, and you're going to have to know that pizza ends in an A. So in front of it, you're going to write la. Okay, let's take a minute. I want you to listen to these and see how you do. Okay, here we go.
Unidad 1, Lección 2. Nivel 1, Actividad 6. Nivel 1A, Actividad 6. La lista de Sandra. Sandra likes to buy many things. Listen and write a list of what she likes to buy using el, la, los, and las.
Me gusta comprar libros, DVDs, frutas, helados, papas fritas, jugo, galletas y pizza.
Okay, she named quite a bit there that she likes to buy. So let's take a moment here and see how you did. So I wrote all these down for you just in case you didn't get them here. You have libros, books, DVDs, DVDs, frutas, fruits, helados, ice cream, papas fritas, French fries, jugo, juice, galletas, cookies, and pizza. So as we go through and put the correct definite article in front of these, again, you're looking at the article, deciding if it's masculine or feminine, singular or plural, and then adding your correct definite article. So very quickly, just so you can check your answers, you should have los libros, los deberes, las frutas, los helados, las papas fritas, el jugo, las galletas, y la pizza. Okay? Next, we're going to discuss indefinite articles. Okay, remember these mean a or some. We've already talked about how they work. You have un, una, unos, and unos. Perdón, un, una, unos, and unas. In this activity, you're given some food, some of those same foods you just heard in the last little listening activity with Sandra. And here, you have to create a sentence saying, those are some cookies. So in this case, you're always deciding first between es, is, or son, are, depending on, if you're talking about one or more than one thing. So in this case, in number one, we have cookies, multiple cookies. So we're starting with son, because it's plural, not es. We're going to say those are some cookies. Son, we know that cookies are galletas, and the correct indefinite article in this case would be unas. Son unas galletas. Let's look at number one together. Number one shows some French fries. Well, you have to decide how many French fries are there. Well, there's more than one, it's multiple. So es or son, well, we're going to use son. We know that French fries in Spanish are papas fritas. Both of those things end in as, therefore they are plural and feminine. So we have son blank papas fritas. We need to choose the indefinite article of unas to go with it. So for number one, we should say son unas papas fritas. Notice it agrees all the way across. Unas papas fritas. Let's do one more together. In number two, there's a single soft drink here for you, and this is the Jarritos brand, which is amazing if you haven't ever tried it. But Jarritos, soda. So we need to decide, is that one soda or more than one? It's only one. So are you going to choose es or son? Should be choosing es. We know that a soft drink or a soda in Spanish is un refresco. And refresco ends in an O. It's masculine singular. So as you're choosing your indefinite article, you have to decide un, una, unos, or unas. It should be un. So your final answer should be es un refresco. Okay? I'd like for you to take a moment, please, and try numbers 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Give these a try and see how you do. All right, now that you've had a second to try, let's take a look. Number 3 shows one cookie, a single cookie. So we need to decide es or son. We're going to choose es. A cookie is a galleta, which is feminine singular. So therefore, we're going to use the indefinite article una to go with it. So es una galleta should be our final answer. Number 4, that's a picture of an helado. We'll go ahead and write down helado. There's only one ice cream here, so we should use es, it's singular. And helado is masculine singular, so we're going to use the indefinite article un to go with it. Es un helado. Number 5, that is one pizza. Pizza. So we need to make it agree. Pizza is feminine and singular. We're going to use es because there's only one pizza. And then feminine singular, we're going to use the indefinite article una to go with it. So es una pizza. We'll do the same thing here in number 6, 7, and 8, but we're switching it up a little bit. In number 6, you see multiple ice creams, helados. That is masculine and that is plural. So in this case, we are using the word helados, plural, and we're using the indefinite article unos to go with it. So we should have son unos helados. We use son here instead of es because it's plural. We have multiple ice creams. Those are some ice creams. Number 7, we have frutas, feminine singular, feminine plural, ends in as, frutas. Multiple fruits here, so we're using son instead of es. And to make it agree, we're also going to use the indefinite article that is feminine plural. So son unas galletas. Or son unas frutas, sorry. Got ahead of myself. Son unas frutas. And then in number 8, we have a glass of juice there. Un jugo. Specified here, un jugo de naranja. In this case, jugo is masculine and it is singular. So we're going to use the indefinite article un in order to agree with jugo there. All right, hopefully you're feeling better about these. This activity asks you to describe some people. Just a little bit more practice here with these adjectives of description and your indefinite articles. So here, it's going to give you a trait about a person, and you have to decide who it is that we're talking about. So, for example, the model question here says Chico Comico, a funny boy. Well, as you look at this picture, who do you think the funny boy is? It's probably going to be Daniel over here, Daniel or Daniel, because he's twirling this book around. He's got a pencil in his hair. He looks goofy. He's got a paper airplane here. He doesn't look like he's studying too much. So he's the funny boy. So to write a sentence to say that Daniel is a funny boy, we're going to say that Daniel es un chico cómico. Now notice we didn't say cómico chico because in Spanish everything is backward. Most of the time the adjective will come after the noun. So instead of saying Ben is a tall boy, we're going to say that Ben is a boy tall. Instead of saying Daniel is a funny boy, we're going to say that Daniel is a boy funny. So Daniel es un chico cómico. In this case, we used un in order to make it agree with chico. Let's look at one more together. Here at number 1, we're talking about chicas, multiple girls. And these are chicas who are estudiosas, studious. Well, as you look around, it looks like to me that Laura y Sara are the studious girls. They both look like they're studying together over here. So we're going to say that Laura y Sara, they are, so you have to decide between es or son. In this case, we should be using son, because multiple girls. Laura y Sara son. And then to agree with chicas estudiosas, we need to use the indefinite article unas. So Laura y Sara son unas chicas estudiosas. Let's do just a few more of these to make sure you got the hang of it. For the sake of time, you don't have to do all of these. I just want you to try numbers 2, 3, and 4 for me, okay? Go ahead and pause your audio, give these a try, and whenever you're ready, you can unmute. All right, let's take a look here at number 2. We're talking about chicos serios, some serious guys, serious boys. Well, as you're looking over there, it looks like Justino and Oscar are pretty serious there. They're not goofy like Daniel. So we're going to say that Oscar y Justino, that they are, son in this case, unos chicos serios. In this case, we used unos because chicos was masculine and plural. So Justino y Oscar son unos chicos serios. Notice it agrees all the way across again. OS, OS, OS. Number 3, we're talking about amigas who are trabajadoras, hardworking girls. Again, I'm going to say that Sara y Laura are the hardworking girls. So we have multiple people here. We're going to say Sara y Laura. You have to choose either es or son, is or are. So in this case, we should choose are, son. Laura y Sara son unas amigas trabajadoras. Notice amigas and trabajadoras are both feminine plural. So therefore, unas should agree with that. It should be feminine plural as well. Unas amigas trabajadoras. And one more, in this case, number 4 refers to a chico desorganizado, a disorganized boy. Again, the only boy here who looks disorganized to me is Daniel. You have to decide if we're saying Daniel is or Daniel are. Daniel es or Daniel son. In this case, is would be correct here. It's singular, talking about one guy. So we should say that Daniel es un chico desorganizado. He's a disorganized boy. In this case, chico and desorganizado were both masculine and were both singular. So we had to use the indefinite article un in this case to make it agree. So hopefully you're feeling better about these things. The next thing I want to talk to you about is noun adjective agreement. And this is something a little tricky for some people. As I said before, the noun in Spanish usually comes after, the adjective usually comes after the noun, which is different from English where the adjective comes before the noun. So that's why I said earlier, in Spanish we say Ben is a boy tall, not Ben is a tall boy. It's backwards. As you see here in English, the serious students in English, but in Spanish, los estudiantes serios. The adjective comes after the noun in Spanish. They also must agree in gender and number with the noun that they describe. Okay, so in this case, los estudiantes serios. We're talking about multiple students in this case. And Estudiantes is masculine and plural, so therefore we must use an adjective serios that is also masculine and plural. Already talked about that. So, as we take a look here, just a few other general rules. You can kind of make the general assumption here that if we're talking about one guy, our adjective is going to end in an O. If we're talking about multiple guys, our adjective is going to end in OS. Talking about one girl, our adjective is going to end in an A. Talking about multiple females, our adjective is going to end in AS. If you have a mixed group of men and women, you're just going to automatically default to the masculine version and use the masculine plural, OS. So those are the general rules. One guy, use an O. Multiple guys, OS. One girl, use an A. Multiple girls, AS. And a mixed group, use OS. That's your general rule of thumb. However, you do have some adjectives that end in just an E. And if that's the case, that adjective will already agree with both genders. And a good example of this is the word inteligente, which means intelligent. So both a male teacher who's intelligent, el maestro inteligente, and a female teacher who's intelligent, la maestra inteligente, in both cases, inteligente agrees. There's no such thing as inteligenta. You don't have to change it. So the adjectives that end in an E, you just leave them alone. They already agree, at least with gender. If you have to make it plural, you would add an S. But with gender, you just leave it alone. This is the same here with adjectives that end in a consonant. So remember, a consonant is anything other than a vowel. And in this case, we have el amigo joven and la amiga joven. Joven means young, as we said before. And joven automatically agrees with both of those, the young boy, or the young male friend, and the young female friend. There's no such thing as jovena. You don't have to change it. Joven already agrees. To make it plural, it ends in a consonant, so you would add es to make it jóvenes. But there's no such thing as jovena or jovenas. It's just joven. And there are some adjectives that end in a consonant which may in turn receive an A. A good example of this is trabajador, hardworking. If you want to make it plural, it becomes trabajadora. This is one you just have to memorize. Trabajador is just weird. So trabajador, trabajadora, trabajadores, trabajadoras. Just memorize trabajador. The rest of these are pretty easy. If it ends in an E, don't have to do anything. It already agrees with the gender. If it ends in a consonant other than trabajador, you don't have to do anything. It already agrees. Pretty simple there. So I have a little email for you here, un correo electrónico, if you will. And this goes along with our learning objective that you should be able to create sentences using proper noun-adjective agreement. This is an email that Alicia has written to Sandra. She says, a Sandra, to Sandra. And the subject, the asunto of the email is una persona famosa en Miami. A famous person in Miami. Whoa. Alicia says, hola amiga, ¿te gusta jugar al fútbol? Y eres blank, ¿no? So, oh my gosh, you like to play soccer and you're intelligent, right? We have to choose between inteligente and inteligentes here in number one. So we're talking only to one person. So in this case, we're going to use the singular version. So it should be inteligente. So te gusta jugar al fútbol y eres inteligente. Number two, ask, ¿quién es la persona famosa en Miami? Who's the famous person in Miami? No es un chico, and your options are grande or grandes. So, gosh, who's that famous person in Miami? Well, it's not a boy who's big. In this case, we have un chico, which is singular, referring only to one boy. So are you going to choose grande or grandes? Good, it should be grande, grande. I want you to take a moment, pause your audio, and give numbers 3 through 7 a try for me, please. All right, now that you've had a second to try these, let's take a look. Number 3 says, no es una chica blank. And our options are either pequeño or pequeña. Well, we're saying it's not a girl who's small. In this case, chica is feminine and it's singular. It ends in an A. So you have the option of choosing either pequeño or pequeña. And in this case, it should be pequeña. We continue to say that tiene pelo blank. And your options are pelo castaño or castaña. Well, we're talking about a chica here, a girl. So people are naturally inclined to choose castaña. But remember, this is noun adjective agreement. You have to figure out what your noun in the sentence is. And in this case, our noun is pelo, hair, which is masculine singular. So we should actually use castaño to make it agree and also be masculine singular. So it's not a girl who's small. She has brown hair and es una persona nice. And our options here are simpático or simpática for nice. Well, again, una persona, in this case, is feminine and singular. So we have to choose simpática as the feminine singular option in this case. Number 6, we see es una mujer, either serio or seria, pero le gusta pasar un rato con los amigos. So it's a woman who is serious, but likes to spend time with her friends. In this case, we're talking about a woman, una mujer, which is feminine and singular. So we have to choose the adjective that is also feminine singular. We should choose seria. Okay, and then lastly, we've said los amigos de ella, the friends of she. Los amigos de ella, her friends, are athletic. Well, in this case, we're not saying she's athletic. The subject of our sentence, our noun in this case that we must agree with, is los amigos, the friends, her friends. So in this case, amigos is masculine plural. So we have to choose the adjective in this case that is also masculine plural. We should say los amigos de ella son atléticos. Okay? Hopefully, after having spent some time in this video, you're feeling better. Now that you have completed this video, you should be able to identify vocabulary related to people, things, and adjectives of description. You should be able to demonstrate understanding of definite and indefinite articles, both in Spanish and English. And finally, you should be able to create sentences using the verb ser to describe what someone is like, and to create sentences using proper noun-adjective agreement. I hope this video has been helpful to you. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe, like our videos, and continue to watch. Hope you have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care.